The brainwashing worked. People think music is free.
Independent people are independent because they have to be. Because non-independent people have shut the door.
If we want quality music, somebody is going to have to pay for it. Hello.
DIY.
Okay, DIYers, over the last week, James Blake, popular songwriter, singer, as well as music producer who's worked with the who's who in the industry, set Twitter on fire with a series of tweets talking about how streaming is brainwashing the people. In the first tweet of many, he says, something I keep seeing is if you're lucky enough to go viral, just use the exposure to generate income some other way. Musicians should be able to generate income via their music. He's asking the consumer, I assume here, do you want good music or do you want what you paid for?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I think it is a very fair question to ask the consumers who at some level want really great music. They want the best versions of their artists. Do you want good music or do you want what you paid for? I'm with you, James Blake, in his first tweet, in that there are a lot of people in this music industry that gotta find other means of income to make money off of the thing that they spend the most time making. They invest the most years of their life creating. They spend all of these times to master their craft. They're hiring in-studio musicians, the best engineers, the best mixing and masters. They're doing all these different things for this product that supposedly ain't enough, and you should be trying to figure out other ways to make money around. Yet and still, it seems like the $1 million, $1 billion companies that house this invaluable product don't seem to be having issues making ends meet. In the next tweet, if we want quality music, somebody is going to have to pay for it. Hello.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Streaming services don't pay properly. Labels want a bigger cut than ever and just sit and wait for you to go viral. TikTok doesn't pay properly, and touring is getting prohibitively expensive for most artists. I feel like every single one of these points we've made videos about, and it's the absolute truth. Busta Rhymes just canceled his tour recently. This continues to happen, and especially after the pandemic, because it's a very expensive game to play. People say you got to make your money on touring. Yeah, that's true, but you ain't the only one that got to make money. These sound men, set designers, venues, person that's DJing for you. If you got background dancers, if you got openers, if all these things cost money, the expenses of just traveling themselves, right? He also makes the point that labels want a bigger cut than ever, and meanwhile, they grab you up and just want you to go viral. There's a very twisted logic in when labels go and they sign up these TikTok artists, which, by the way, TikTok artists that are currently watching this content, if you're going viral, you don't need a label. He talks about the streaming services not paying properly. These are things that we know. And back to the original point, somebody is going to have to pay for it. Music listeners, where you at? This is the one I think that really set things off. He said the brainwashing worked, and now people think music is free.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Last week we did a story where French Montana, very interesting, used the same exact wording when describing artists that promote the Spotify Wrapped, as if, hey, look at the numbers I put on the board, when it's like you don't even understand that you're doing the affiliate work for a company massively bigger than you, who's like, yeah, keep telling them what you did. But the brainwashing work, and now people think that music is free. It is crazy when you see people who make an argument, who actually get really aggressive and angry about the idea of having to pay for music. Usually it's just kids who probably came up and never have seen a time where that's happening. It's among you now. It's going to happen. Because now when you are the independent artist that can gatekeep the access that somebody has, then you got to find out more creative ways to pirate it. He also goes and he makes a statement about AI. James Blake says, and by the way, since it's cheaper to produce fast, synthetic music to drop on streaming every week to capitalize on the strengths of the model, watch how the model is preparing you for AI-generated music that pays musicians nothing at all. We are indeed in that time period. So let's switch gears, because with all this independent talk, I think it's really easy to lose sight of the reality of the situation sometimes. Dame Dash sat down here with Bath Hoffa for an interview on a channel called the America New Network, and he talks about this very specific thing of how artists that he was championing very early in their career. And he was even encouraging them to push for independence. Eventually said, I think I'm going to go ahead and just do this deal. Listen to Dame talk about this.
You understand what I'm saying? So I already see the future for him. I'm like, bro, if you ain't trying to make some music with that man, you bugging. Because you know he about to go. Because I already told him, I said, once they see you with me, they're going to come offer you $5 million. I can't tell you not to go. That's what happened with Wiz Khalifa. That's what happened with Currency. It happened with Styley. It happened with Crit. These are all indies. They were all with me first, and then they took the deal. I ain't mad at none of them.
Y'all all in the same game, right? That means y'all all related. You know what I mean? Like 10 years later, y'all gonna still know each other. 20 years later, y'all should still be friends. If y'all still relevant, you know what I'm saying? For that, it's like, that means no matter what, y'all only got to look out for each other.
Did you advise against it?
Hell yeah, a lot of them did it behind my back because they were ashamed. What do you think Styley, the most independent, grumpy motherfucker in the world, you know Styley. He's the one that was like, yo, I'm gonna be the most independent, da-da-da-da, and then he took that deal.
Damn.
I was like, you were just saying you was gonna be independent. And I remember I seen him in the airport 5-6 years later. Was it worth it? Nah.
Sheesh.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Independence is not easy. There's a sense of pride that I think every one of us feel when we're able to connect with our listeners and fans through direct-to-consumer products, merchandise, when we're able to shake hands and take pictures. But I think there are some factors along the way. The difficulty of maintaining this without the proper staffing. Yeah, I'm doing all of this, but it's expensive, and this shit is expensive. And when somebody's dangling a $5 million check in front of you, it's really hard to say no to it.
Currency broke my heart. He did that one behind my back. That hurt. Pause. Because I was shocked. So you got to look at all the body of work that I have with all these artists are talking about independence. And then they go and they sign. You can't be mad. It's an algorithm. You can't sell someone that never had $1 million not to take $1 million. Like literally with Wiz Khalifa, he was in Woodstock. I can show you the footage with Currency. And I'm not trying to sign them. It's just my son and my nephews knew them, loved them, told me about them. So I'm like, all right, let's just make some content. Let's make some art. And we were out there making like Muscle Car Chronicles. It was a short film. It's on American New. And 2 Suburbans pulled up. And this dude, Benji, and another white dude kidnapped. They just took him.
What?
He was gone. I don't know how they knew he was there. And the next thing was Black and Yellow.
Wow.
And then my point is, sometimes independent people are independent because they have to be. Because non-independent people have shut the doors. And then once you start rolling on your own, then that's when they come and give you that deal. You know,
right.
And it starts with numbers like $1 million or 2 million.
See.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm
Some
gonna tell it.
people are independent because they have to be. I'm going to say how I feel. Some of these people have not had an opportunity to get fucked by these companies, which is crazy to even think about when you say it like that, but they don't view it that way. Some of these niggas don't want to be independent. They're independent because the pretty girl at the dance hasn't chose them. She walked right past them.
Nah, and I'm still not content till I'm dominating every single continent. My shit go stupid, you don't think, then use your common sense. I DIY and I know that I'm a product. When they play the new king, all the DIYs go crazy. All the DIYs go crazy. When they play the new king, all the DIYs go crazy. All the DIYs go crazy.
This is why I can speak so freely about this, because I have no desires to go sleep in bed with the devil and these devilish ways of conducting business. Not when I can know that I have within my access the ability to take things from my grandma's patio into the place that I'm in right now. That was never supposed to happen through music. When I made my first 100,000, I said, oh shit. So you mean I don't even have to be a household name to be successful at what I'm doing? That's when I said, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I want to draw your attention to one more clip here. It's funny because Dame did mention a very popular name and someone who is very well respected here in this independent space. He brought up Big Crit, who, you know, Big Crit did sign a deal, but he has, for his career, I feel like some of his greatest moments, greatest albums have come during his independence, and it hasn't stopped now. I love what he says here about what his independence looks like, because I think that it paints a very vivid picture of what it looks like for a lot of us. It for sure paints a picture of it for me, which is probably why I reacted to it today. Check it out.
And I rap top tier. You know how hard that is?
Right.
And I can mix engineer. I am probably one of the few artists you can put in the studio without anyone, and I'll come out with an album by myself. I'll mix it, and it might even compete with some of the mixing that you got going on right now in this industry. I mixed it, recorded it, wrote the hooks, made the beats, and I'm top tier rapper.
Jeez, talk your shit, Crit. Talk your crit. Talk your crit. So he's laying out for you what it really looks like now. It is not as glamorous as the shit talking sounds. And I'm sure that if I had Big Crit here to talk to, he would agree. It ain't as sexy as what it sounds. Those who are so into ownership, those who are like, yeah, I'm gonna build my own, that ain't the easiest task to accomplish, but it is possible. Although nothing is guaranteed, hey, you getting signed, nothing is guaranteed. The amount of people that signed to Universal Music Group last year and was like, my life is going to change forever, had no idea about the layoffs that would occur the next year. They had no idea about the prioritization of AI and the deprioritization of hip-hop based artists and songwriters. They had no idea. Anything can happen. I see a lot of people who, they talk about how much they champion independence, and I question every single one of them until I see what they do when the check is dangled in front of their face. I don't pass judgment on it because I understand everybody has their own priorities. People got families to take care of. People got teams that looking to eat. And some people don't want to do this for the rest of their life. They don't want to support your music career for the rest of their life. I think that we're in a time where if you're able to just breathe for a second, look at your surroundings. Look at the things that are accessible to you that have never been accessible before. When you see all of this conversation about direct-to-consumer for independent artists, which has been going on for years even before I was born, when you start to see it being mainstream conversation, when you start to see the James Blakes making these very public statements when he could be promoting some of his music, you have to ask the question, is the tide changing? Is the general perspective changing? And is this a time that if I do something about it now, could I possibly be early? I got my business. Shout out to Tabitha Brown. That's my business. Yeah. Curtis King, DIY, that's my business. And I don't need for you to be successful for me to be successful. I just need to make sure that I take care of the business that I set every single day when I create my to-do list, that I make sure anybody that I bring into my space that is going to work with me, that I am treating them as the partner that they are. I need to ensure that I take care of that. I need to ensure that when it comes to me doing my music, I'm at the top of my game. I'm not being swayed by virality. I'm not being swayed by playing the playlisting game, which I will always to the end say, streaming ain't taught me shit, but how to be a better customer of streaming. It ain't taught me shit about selling because I don't have to sell on streaming. But direct to consumer, that's teaching me something. That's teaching me that, hey, Curtis, maybe the packaging for your CD, that's not enough. Let's see what we can do when we get into a different bracket. Can we make it even better? Are there some better prices for what we're trying to do? Let's do it. What about merch? Let's study it a little bit more. Let's see what we can do here. It's teaching me every day that once I separate the music and I put everything, my heart, my soul, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my love into that music, now it is my job to put my marketing hat on, my business hat on, and figure out the packaging, the promotion, the marketing, the social media campaign for it. I get to do that now. I don't get overwhelmed by it because I get to do that. I get to go be the biggest champion of the thing that I've been loving since I was 17 years old. I'm good. I don't get overwhelmed by this. There are times that I get tired, fucking tired, and I want to take a nap. You know what I do? I take a nap. And I get my ass back up and I get to work because this is the work that I get to do, not the work that I have to do. Those are my thoughts though, in DIYers. You let me know what your thoughts are. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.